Welcome to Art for Advent. On this third Sunday in Advent, we look at a painting by Sandro Botticelli. This altarpiece, which is known as the Cestello Annunciation, was painted around 1489 or 1490. In this magnificent work, Botticelli employed both the structure of the architectural space and the movement of his figures to visualize the transformational impact of Christ's Incarnation. Botticelli had apprenticed with Fra Filippo Lippi. However, compared with the kneeling Virgin in Lippi's Annunciation, Botticelli's Mary turns in space with greater freedom and fluidity. Lippi depicted his figures as carnal bodies with three-dimensional form. Building on Lippi's aesthetic achievement, Botticelli focused his own imagination on the inner spiritual life of his subjects, particularly the Virgin Mary. Throughout his art, Botticelli draws the viewer into her complex identity as the human mother of the divine Christ. The Cestello Annunciation invites a meditation on how Mary is spiritually transformed by Christ's incarnation. In Luke's account of the Annunciation, Gabriel greets Mary saying,
"Rejoice, highly favored one, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women."
In Botticelli's painting, Mary responds to this pronouncement with both awe and angst. Swooning towards Gabriel, Mary is simultaneously vulnerable and gracious. Mary's twisting posture is central to Botticelli's aesthetic strategy and visual theology. Posture is the artist's use of the body's external appearance to depict the internal life of the person. In this altarpiece, Mary's turning posture depicts a spiritual and otherwise invisible metamorphosis that is unfolding within her at this moment. Botticelli's painting visualizes Mary in a state of being blessed by God. Gabriel finds Mary in a simple interior space, engaged in her devotional reading. Botticelli's architecture is more than just a stage on which the figures perform. He employs the structure of the room to both give design to the composition and to organize the sacred narrative. For example, the frame of the doorway divides the room and the painting into two parts. This visualizes a spiritual separation between Gabriel and Mary. However, in the moment that we see here, both Gabriel and Mary cross this barrier with their reciprocating gestures. Gabriel's hand is raised in benediction. Mary reaches out to accept his offering. Their open hands are pictorially connected within the form of the doorframe. The spiritually charged space between Gabriel and Mary's hands is a depiction of the Incarnation as an act of the invisible God entering into the world. Amazingly, this 15th century altarpiece is still in its original frame. At the base of the frame is a Latin text of these words spoken by Gabriel to Mary.
"The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, and the power of the highest shall overshadow thee."
But what does it look like to be overshadowed by the power of God? What does it look like to be blessed? Botticelli's depiction of Mary's physical movement visualizes her spiritual change. The impact of Christ's incarnation has begun. Botticelli's painting is known as the Cestello Annunciation because it was commissioned for a chapel in a Cistercian convent. In that liturgical context, this altarpiece served the purpose of making the blessings of God that we see transforming Mary accessible to the viewer. The spiritual impact of Botticelli's art can still affect us today. Next Advent Sunday, we will look at an Annunciation by Leonardo da Vinci. Situating the Annunciation outdoors, Leonardo employs the mechanics of pictorial space to visualize Christ's incarnation as the fulfillment of nature's design.